everyone, my name's Katie, also known as Clean Coach Katie, and I'm here today with Rudi Chaplin from the Treatment Lab. We're doing a follow-on video as a few weeks ago we filmed a video on rest and recovery for marathon training and endurance runners. And today we're going to be talking about tapering leading up to the big day. So I'll let Rudi introduce himself.
Hi everyone, you may have seen us last time, so I'm Rudi from the Treatment Lab and I'm a sports rehabilitator here, and I'm currently training for Manchester Marathon, which will be my 5th marathon.
And as again I said, my name's Katie, Clean Coach Katie. I'm a personal trainer and also training for the London Marathon, and this is my 2nd marathon. So we'll get straight to it and we'll start with tapering and define what tapering is, because you hear about it a lot in your training plan, but sometimes people are unsure on what it is, especially if you're a beginner. So what is tapering?
Okay, there's a lot of different taper plans as part of your marathon programs, but tapering is where you reduce your weekly mileage in preparation for letting the body recover ready for the marathon. Most programs give a 3-week or 4-week taper. Some people do a 2-week taper, but you do need a reduction in your mileage to allow the body to repair itself and get ready for the big day. Fantastic.
So personally, I'm doing a 3-week taper. My longest run will be 3 weeks before. I'll do 2 shorter runs on a Sunday and then have the big day. What about you, Rudi? What are you doing?
I'm doing a 2-week taper, so my longest run will be 2 weeks before the big race, and then the week before I'll do about half the distance.
Okay, and so what about during the week? What would you advise people to do with their mileage?
Your overall weekly mileage should probably, in the first week of taper, reduce by about 20%. Most of that will probably come off your longer run. So you should still run as frequently throughout the week, but your overall weekly mileage should reduce. And then in the 2nd or 3rd week before the marathon, then your mileage drops even further. But you still need to run as often, but just shorter distances.
Okay, that's good to know, because I think a lot of people sometimes think that they should run less frequently, but that's good to know, you know, keep running. If you're running 4 times a week, keep going out 4 times a week, but just cut that back a few times, I guess, for sanity's sake as well, a little.
That's it, yeah. A lot of marathon runners will find they get a bit nervous, a bit anxious about all the training they have or haven't done, and do they need to do any more training, but you do need that rest. So make sure that you're still training, but you're not going out as long, let the body recover, and just stick to your normal training plan in terms of frequency. Okay,
fantastic. So one of the questions that we got was from Lucinda from the Redway Runners, and it was about how to prevent getting ill when you begin to taper. Now, from personal experience, I have worked in events previously, and I've noticed that whenever I've got a big event, you know, the build up, we're working very long hours, the event happens, and then afterwards, you know, we're stepping back away from it, and that's when I've you get ill, your immune system shuts down, I guess, in a sense. So that could happen around running as well. You know, we're doing all this big mileage and then you're stepping back slightly and people are scared of getting ill. So I think we were speaking about this before, and we just were saying that you just need to make sure that you're eating well, resting, recovering in between each runs, you know, carrying on the routine that you were doing beforehand in your training, and just making sure that you're eating a lot of fruit and vegetables, getting vitamins and minerals in, taking any supplementation in terms of, you know, just a multivitamin, just to make sure you're getting everything in, drinking orange juice, hydrating, and just staying on top of everything, I guess. And try not to let the nerves set in that sense, you know, just trust the process, you know, trust your training and just continue with what you've been doing before. I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Absolutely, yeah. As part of the taper, you would have done your longest miles leading up to the start of the taper, and your immune system can be a little bit suppressed, which why some people do get colds and coughs and things during the taper, but you've just got to make sure that you're getting enough rest, plenty of sleep, plenty of hydration, and lots of vitamins and minerals, so you eat clean as well.
Yeah, and I guess people can watch the rest and recovery video that we filmed previously as well to get some tips on how to making sure, especially on that longest run, that you're recovering well enough so that you can begin the taper in free, I guess. Another question that we've had is how to fill your spare time. Now that the mileage has reduced, what should we be doing? People get nervous, they get itchy feet, and they feel like they should be running when actually your plan says that you shouldn't be. What should people be doing to fill that time?
I personally will just enjoy not having to go out for long runs, enjoy actually having some family time back now for the next couple of weeks. I'll still be going out as frequently, but just not as long, so half of my day isn't taken up with a long run on a Sunday, so I'm just going to enjoy actually spending time with the family and yeah, not having to go out and do those long runs.
Yeah. I guess that's it, it's just enjoy the time. I guess use that time to prepare. You know, you can do a bit of research on the area, whatever marathon you're doing, have a look at the course, mentally prepare, you know, make sure that your kit's all ready and things like that, and just making sure that all of your arrangements for the big day are ready. I guess you can just sort of take the time to get excited. Obviously nerves are good too, but just prepare and just make sure that not only physically that you're mentally ready for it as well.
Absolutely, mental preparation's key. I think if you sort of think about your race strategy, you know, have you got a certain pace you want to run at? What are you going to do if it doesn't go according to plan? You know, think of things that can happen. There's a lot of variables in a marathon that can affect you on the day, and just have a think about how you might deal with those so you're better prepared for it. So yeah, don't stop thinking about the marathon because you're not training as long, but certainly, you know, get ready for it. Yeah,
I did read a while ago about having like 3 target times. I know that timing is everything, because there's a lot of people out there that are running a marathon for a good cause, a charity, or for someone else. So, you know, aiming for a time is good, but obviously remember why you're doing it in the first place. But I think if you have sort of, I read that you should set yourself 3 times. So there's a time that you'd be ecstatic with, a time that you'd be really pleased with, and another time that you've been pleased with, so that you sort of set that expectation in your mind already. Because the worst thing is, you know, especially if it's a new marathon or it's one of your first ones, you don't want to cross that line and then feel like you've not achieved anything because you didn't get the time that you wanted. However, you've just run 26.2 miles. That is an achievement in itself. You are then a marathon runner, and no one can take that away from you. So I think, you know, mentally prepare yourself, like you said, with the pace, work out what you need, and just be happy with the fact that you're running the marathon rather than at a set time that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some great advice, because runners do sometimes get fixated on time, and you need to accept that sometimes it doesn't go according to plan.
Doesn't always.
Doing a marathon is a great achievement anyway. So yeah, that's some great advice there. There's always been other marathons if it doesn't go according to plan, so you can learn from it and move on. But yeah, it's don't get too fixated on time and too upset with yourself if it doesn't go according to plan.
Yeah. So this question sort of follows on from the nervousness and itchy feet, and that's about how to eat when you are nervous, because some people really struggle to eat, especially sort of in the build up to the marathon and on race day when you're nervous. You know, you just get that sicky feeling, you're like, I can't stomach anything. So I think with that, the best advice that I could give, that especially if it's on race day and you feel a bit nervous and you feel like you can't eat, is break your breakfast down into smaller portions. And you know, you don't need to necessarily have porridge or toast, but have smaller portions throughout the morning that will be easier to stomach for you, because you're still getting the same amount of intake in, but it's probably going to be easier to digest for you as well. We spoke about this before, but making sure that you have the last thing you eat about an hour before the race starts, just so that it can settle in your stomach. I personally like around 2 hours beforehand, just to make sure that it is fully settled, because then by then you obviously have all of your gels or anything else that you're taking along with you for the race itself. So I think it is really difficult, because you can't force yourself to eat when you are nervous, but I think that you just need to think in your head, you know, I'm not eating for the sake of eating, I'm eating to fuel. And sometimes you just need to do it and find something which you find easier to digest. I think a great thing I personally like is, I've said it before, is like a smoothie. With a banana base, some berries and things like that all blended together. And I think I did that back at London Marathon beforehand, because I had my breakfast quite early because I was travelling across to the start, so I had porridge, and then on the way travelling too, I had the fruit smoothie just so I could sort of top up levels. And it's so much easier because you're drinking it rather than actually physically eating something. So yeah, just making sure that if you need to break your breakfast down, making sure that you're drinking, you can have a sports drink as well, staying hydrated, just little and often, I think is the best thing.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. I get nervous on race day and take maybe 2-3 times as long to eat my breakfast, but still make sure I get the food in and ready for the race. But yeah, I don't feel like eating on race day, but I know that I have to get my energy reserves up. and just take your time and don't force it down really quickly. Just give yourself a little bit longer to eat.
Yeah. The next question is what to do in race week. So in terms of both training and nutrition, how should you prepare for that? So start with training, I guess. How should we prepare in race week?
I personally will do my last run maybe 3 days before the race, so I'll probably get 2 runs in on that week, with the marathon being the 3rd run of the week. I usually run about 3 times a week for my marathon training. So yeah, I'll run and make sure I've got rest and recovery in between. Some people like to run the day before a race. I've done that once. I didn't get on with it. Didn't think it worked for me, so I allow 3 days. But obviously everyone's training plans are different, and as you do, if this is your first marathon, obviously you'll be sort of sticking quite rigidly to a plan. If it's your 2nd, 3rd, 4th marathon, you'll probably adjust things and trial and error and see how you get on. But yeah, I found that 3 days before is quite good for me.
Yeah, I'm the same as well. I think 2 days before, I'll run on my last run on Thursday, and then have 2 days off to just mentally prepare, get my legs ready for race day, because I love waking up on race day feeling fresh. It sort of gives me a mental boost, if anything. And I think as well, some good advice is on the Saturday. If your race is on the Sunday, on the Saturday, try and keep off your feet as much as possible. It can be quite difficult for things if you're having to travel to that destination, especially London. A lot of people go to the expo and pick up their race number and things like that. So just be conscious of that. Try and stay off your feet as much as possible, and just keep remembering to hydrate, eat well, and just do everything that you've been practicing in the build up to it. Absolutely. In terms of nutrition, I have filmed a video recently on how to prepare for race day, so you can check that out, and we'll leave the link below. But I think obviously the term carb loading gets thrown out quite a lot. I think that with that we need to be careful in a sense. It's not just all about eating as much carbohydrates as you can. That's not the idea behind it, because our body can only store a certain amount of carbohydrates and glycogen. So I think that it's just, personally, I think that what works well for me and hopefully other people is just increasing carbohydrates at meal times, but not too dramatically. It's just slightly on each meal, just so that you're getting more in your body. It's not thinking, oh, I need to eat this because I need to eat carbs. It's just at meal times, just increasing the carbohydrate intake. Again, just making sure that you're eating what you've been practicing. So before race day, that's also another thing. It's just really quite difficult. If you're staying away, you might not be able to have access to what you've been used to eating. So if you are staying away, have a look at the restaurants around your hotel or where your accommodation is, and try and find something which a restaurant which serves this type of food that you'd like. So the thing is, you should by now be prepared for your nutrition. You've been doing your long runs, you've been practicing it, so just keep with the same routine, don't overthink it, but think about it in the same sense. Be conscious about it, but don't think too much into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, check out Kate's video for the carbo loading and nutrition leading up to and on race day as well. But yeah, you don't want to overload the carbs too much. You still need your proteins, your fats as well. You still need a balanced diet, just a few more carbs with each meal. Yeah,
I think sometimes carbohydrates, whenever you've had a big meal, sometimes can make you feel a bit sluggish, and the last thing you want on race day is just to feel a bit heavy and a bit. I mean, I noticed personally, building up to a race, you're not running as much, you're trying to take on more carbohydrates, you probably do feel a bit, not heavier, but you can notice that your muscles are storing more. It's fine, embrace that, because you're going to need that on race day. One of the final questions that we had was about massages and stretching during race week. So hopefully you've all been making sure that you've been getting your stretches in around your running anyway, and building that into your routine. But in terms of stretching, how much should we be doing, and when should we be getting a massage before, in the build up to the race?
Yeah, so you should be following your normal training routine, and that you'll be stretching or doing mobility sessions on certain days. That's fine to do in the lead up. You don't want to do too much exercise, so it's a couple of short runs, maybe 3 short runs in that week leading up. And you might be thinking about getting a pre-race massage as well. As we covered in the last video, you probably want to allow a couple of days before the race as recovery after the massage. Sometimes there might be a few sore spots. So probably 2 to 3 days beforehand, look at getting a massage to loosen things up as well. Okay, so Wednesday massage, Thursday run, Friday, Saturday recovery, Sunday race. Sounds good. And then as well, I guess
the good thing is about massage is that most marathons now actually provide hubs or centres that have massage, you know, tents or gazebos there. So if you try and do a bit of research into where they are past the finish line, and make sure you get yourself in there as well afterwards.
Yeah, it's good to get a flush through the legs afterwards. You might not necessarily be feeling that you want a massage, you might be quite sore. Generally it'll be quite a gentle massage just to sort of flush through the legs, get them recovered. But if not, then maybe a couple of days after the marathon, go and get a recovery massage somewhere as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks for watching, everyone. We hope that you've enjoyed the video and have been able to take some useful tips away for tapering and preparing for the big day itself. We'd just like to wish you all the best of luck, and please let us know how you get on. If you'd like to get in contact with myself or Rudi, then you can contact me, Katie, on Clean Coach Katie on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
And you can find the Treatment Lab on Facebook and Twitter as well. Good luck everyone with your tapering, and enjoy the race.